the mic, they gon' play it on repeat. Cash 100 milli check, I get paid just to breathe. Kill it 24/7, cause I slay in my sleep. Flames pipe down when I enter in the convo.
Well, hello and good evening, folks. We are once again here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast, doing a Wednesday evening main live stream discussional show like we always do, getting after it. Cybernetic Shark, my co-host, myself, Jeff S., aka True Knowledge, humbled to be the team here at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel podcast. We're here to do a DC films, I guess you could say, Black Adam, Shazam 2, type discussional type show here. We brought William, the host of the Geek Gauntlet podcast, to come on and whatnot, sort of, to, I guess, maybe bring some, shed some light on some things for me and Cyber and for the audience and whatnot in terms of his knowledge as far as DC Comics goes, and as far as the fact that he actually follows and covers the DCEU and the DC movies and whatnot weekly on his show with Shaw and Kat and the whole rest of the squad. That's a part of their deal. At that point, we got Mark Rutledge from Rutledge and Broadcasting Network coming out here shortly. That's going to be the team. And again, it's going to be all DCEU themed show for the first time ever in the history of the Bleeding Edge. We've never done one that I can think of. So, right, Cyber, this is it. This is our first one.
Solely DCU, yes, because we have discussed other DCU projects and movies and stuff and episodes, but this is 100% DCU.
And I love it. I think this is great. This was Cyber's idea. He put me on track on this shit real quick. He was like, look, Jeff, I'm done with this bored ass shit that you come up with and whatnot with these shows. We got to do something different, man. This ain't working. So, he's like, I gotta like straighten you out real quick on this DC shit and this DCEU shit real quick. No, I'm just playing. No, but it was his idea though. It was. And of course, William was the first person I thought to reach out to. Nate the Great was going to come on too, but he's too busy young man. And of course, we're always blessed to have Mark Rutledge pop up at some point. He rarely decides to guest with anybody, so I feel kind of special that he does. But Cybernetic Shark, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Hey, you know what? I can't complain, man. Feeling better and better and better as the weeks go by, as you know. And hey,
I want to know what the heck you eating, Cyber. That's what I want to know. You need to run that food a little too much.
that sounds like it could be spaghetti, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Ravioli or some shit.
No, French toast.
Oh, ain't no wrong with that, bro.
Hey Mark, don't you love it when you come on a show and people are already talking this shit and you're like an awkward silence person all of a sudden? Like you pop up and you're just like, hey.
No, everything was frozen. And I literally just caught the last seconds of that, you jerkwad.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, man, because I was looking at you and I was like, what's he doing?
Good.
Like,
I like the fact that you invite me on here and immediately you're a dick to me.
oh, stop. Come on now.
I get that look like, okay.
If I didn't question your balls at least one time at the beginning of the show, I just wouldn't be myself, man.
Can I say that this is now the second time in a row I've been on your show and worn the exact same t-shirt? And to your listeners, I have more than one, I swear. I have more than one t-shirt.
I have to believe, folks, I'm going to go ahead and second on that knowing Mark is, I mean, not that I know him that well, but knowing Mark as I do, I have to imagine that just like myself, Mark is a serious collector of freaking t-shirts at the end of the day. He's got plenty. I guarantee it.
Like 500. Yeah. It's like
there you go.
Ridiculous.
Yes, I think what happened, Mark, is that honestly, you got so tired of wearing a different t-shirt every single day of the year that you said, fuck it. I'm going to wear the same t-shirt two shows in a row at the Bleeding Edge.
I wanted to just completely take over your show like the asshole that I am with the giant ego. And I thought, what better way to do that than to incessantly and mind-numbingly talk about my t-shirt collection? So far, this is going exactly as I planned it.
Well, I don't really have any DC t-shirts, to be honest. I need to work on that. I mean, the only thing I have is like a Superman t-shirt that's pretty lame.
Okay.
I wish I had a DC Films, type t-shirt or whatever or something, a Batman t-shirt. At least Cybers at least has the Batman hat tonight. So
I have a couple of DC comic character t-shirts. Would you like me to change on your podcast and put one on?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
You're okay. I've already explained that you're on here.
Do it.
Cyber's into it. I'll do it.
Please.
I already pointed out that
Yes.
here to sort of lend your knowledge to
Fight the power.
As far as the fact that Cyber and I aren't really massive DC comic, fans or anything like that, and we don't have that sort of baseline knowledge like you and William do, as far as the characters go and whatnot, the secondary characters in these films we're going to be talking about. So I felt like we really needed some impactful guests that could really contribute some valuable, knowledgeable shit here. William, good to see you again, brother. What is this? I think you haven't been on the show that much lately. What is it, the second time like the last 2 weeks?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, a couple weeks.
That's right. We did that Sunday show.
We did a Sunday show together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Shark. Yep.
What's going on, man? What do you got going on Geek Gauntlet this Saturday?
Oh, chilling, man. Chilling. We're gonna be going over She-Hulk. She-Hulk reviews. We're gonna do some show rundowns. Harley Quinn. I got another Dragon Ball Z rant I'm gonna get into. Just got a whole and some house cleaning we're gonna take care of. So we got a lot going down on Gauntlet.
Good to hear. And Mr. Rutledge, what is going on at Rutledge and Broadcasting Network these days?
We just reviewed The Gray Man, which came out in mid-July on Netflix, starring Ryan Gosling and of Captain America fame, Chris Evans. Also starring the lovely and very wooden Arma de Amis. She did a much better job in Deep Water. I'm just going to throw that out there than she did in The Gray Matter, but that's neither here nor there. Tomorrow, we're reviewing the new Five Finger Death Punch album. We'll do a Metal Hammer of Doom extra on a Machine Head video for a review the following week. And next week on Damn You Hollywood, we'll be reviewing Samaritan, which is the new Sylvester Stallone superhero movie that is going direct to Amazon Prime. So that's what we got going on. Last week we did Prey. So because this, and I bet Cyber knows this. I bet Cyber could just take the words right out of my mouth. We're in August, otherwise known as Fuck You, it's August. Otherwise known as the Drizzling Shits for Movies August.
Facts.
So after Bullet Train, it's just been one streaming movie after another until we get to October.
Mark, do you look forward to coming on the Bleeding Edge just because you can come on here and say fuck more than once or twice, like you're trained to over there on your shows, or what?
I come on this show because I enjoy being close to you and Cyber, like right between you, kind of like how I am right now. Right, sandwiched right between you.
Man.
He's a peanut butter and jelly to y'all's bread.
That touched me right there, Mark, in my heart, man.
But I'll say fuck anywhere. So fine. But I appreciate the freedom that you allow me. You're an American, Jeff.
Hey, listen. At the end of the day, I'm so American. I took my American flag down to put a fucking Band-Aid poster behind me. There you go. What's that tell you? Not just play it. I'm joking. Believe me, I've got my priorities straight when it comes to America over Band-Aid. But hey, Japan's one of our allies and our buddies. So, but no, it's good to see you, Mark. I definitely, like I was pointing out in the beginning of the show before we actually launch into the meat of this, that we're lucky and blessed whenever we can have you on. Just because your schedule is tight. You've got a family, you've got kids, you do a lot. You're an active guy. You record a lot more than I do.
I have to be publicly nude in places, Jeff. I am a very busy guy, either at resorts or beaches. There's a lot of time. I have to make time for public nudity. I want to make sure I said that on your podcast. Make sure everyone knows.
Man, I'm just not at the place right now in my life. I've thought about it where I'm down with going on like the public nudity thing. I've considered going to a nude beach before. I bet at the resort where they have them. But
you're in the place for it too, aren't you?
Hang on. You've been to Caliente?
He's in Florida, so he's in a place for it.
I never went to Caliente, but one of the resorts I did go to, one of the all-inclusives I went to Jamaica years ago, did have a nude beach at the resort.
Yeah, we have one right here in Land O'Lakes, Florida. We were there in July for a couple of days, and then we're going back Labor Day weekend. Cyber, you got to get down with that public nudity. You know the deal. Is he muted or something? What's happening here?
They got some.
Yes, I had myself muted.
Because he's smacking.
Because I'm smacking and it was bothering William.
Toast.
So I didn't want to bother him anymore.
All right.
French toast at 10 o'clock at night. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, you know, sometimes.
Mark, what is that? What is that? What is that resort in Jamaica that's almost like adult centric? It's like
not Sandals, maybe Sandals. I'd have to look. But I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, there is an adult all-inclusive like series of resorts. Like, in, like
they have a couple of them. Yeah. They have special events and everything and whatnot, special weeks, stuff like that.
And I want to say it's Sandals, but I don't want to misrepresent. So I will look it up and I will let you know. And we will come back here on the Bleeding Edge and we will talk. We will do like we do on the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra and just tell sexy stories, but we'll do them in superhero t-shirts.
I've met a couple people in Jamaica that have told me they've been to those resorts before and whatnot.
Yes.
They seem pretty cool. You know, definitely something I could be interested in. Definitely Bleeding Edge type shit. But so I guess to start things off, kind of in reverse in terms of DC films and the DCEU, Warner Brothers, where everything's going, because that is going to be one of the topics and segments we're going to be throwing in here, is sort of a projection based off of what's already been put out there. CEO of Warner Brothers.
Did you just see the breaking news about Aquaman and Shazam?
When did that? What exactly was that?
Earlier today, Aquaman 2 has been delayed till Christmas 2023, and Shazam took its spot in March. So we have one more big DC film left in October, and that's Black Adam, and then we're done for the year.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
The Flash is still maintaining its June date, but that, you know, that $1.50 will get you on the bus at this point. Who knows, with the Warner Brothers Discovery blowing up of HBO Max and the canceling of everything, even things they don't own, who knows what they're going to do with the Flash. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I didn't know if you knew about that. I
don't think we see it. I'm in the minority. I don't think we see it because Ezra Miller's got a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But you do need it for the continuation of the DCEU.
Watch them delay it a year so they can CGI Grant Gustin in every scene that he's in.
Yep. They'll body crop Ezra Miller right out of there. Put Grant in there.
Yep. This is the flank starring Grant Gustin.
Go ahead,
so if we see it, I agree with you. It'll be a year later because Ezra just got a bad everybody's mouth, man.
That's what happens when you commit burglary. Go ahead, Cyber. I'm sorry.
And kidnap people.
All I know is that the last test screening for it was out the window for everyone. They loved it. Mm-hmm. It's got really good test reviews so far for what they put together. So I think Warner Brothers Discovery would be stupid to not put this out at all. They should just put it out how it is, leave it at its June release date. Mm-hmm. And just, this being if they're done with Ezra Miller, just be done with him after this film. Let it be, move on, have it like at some point, maybe transfer to somebody else being the Flash.
That's what I was going to add. And I'll shut up so Jeff can actually run his own show. But I think the best thing to do is do a quick reshoot / add-on to where, because of my understanding of the plot of the new Flash movie is that it's actually Flashpoint.
It's actually Flashpoint, yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Which means that at the resolution of Flashpoint can be Ezra Miller is gone, and William, help me out with this because I don't totally recall the character's name. That he gets replaced by a new Flash, but it's the guy that was Flash for a while after Barry Allen.
Wally West.
Everyone loves.
Wally
West. Yes. Mm-hmm. That Grant Gustin comes in, but he's Wally West in this universe.
That makes sense too.
Keep going with Grant Gustin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Wally West is the better Flash anyway.
He's beloved. Did you? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna throw this out there, Jeff. I'll catch you up if you have questions about it. But do you remember how Twitter tried to burn down DC Comics and kill everyone involved because of Identity Crisis? Was it Identity? No, not Identity Crisis. Heroes in Crisis. Heroes in Crisis, where they did something with Wally West and everyone went fucking crazy and was like, kill everyone involved in this.
Shoot.
Go ahead, William.
You could have blown it. It was almost like the fans want them to blow up like they did with the New 52. They just blew that thing up and went right back to what it was from back in the day. I wasn't a fan of them.
Do you remember what they did with Wally West that offended everyone so much?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Okay. I think they made him. Go ahead. Sorry.
because I know on CW he got a lot into it because he's really because of his sexuality. I know he drew a little bit of hate from that, but the guy who played him, is a great actor. I liked him as Wally West.
Yeah, he was fine.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, it's like they want to blow it up like they blew up the New 52. That's what they wanted to do.
Did you know that George Miller at one point was actually he was actually signed on to direct Justice League Mortal back in 2007?
Yep.
With Adam Brody as the Flash. It was envisioned as the start of a franchise with planned sequels and spin-offs, including the Flash film.
Yeah, there was a rumored cast list out there, a fan cast. There has been a Justice League movie has been in active development since Moses went to the mountaintop. And the only person who got it right is Zack Snyder.
It's actually interesting you pointed out that, Mark. This actually connects to Cyber and I guesting on J Rent 2000's A Podcast Odyssey recently. We just reviewed the Batman from 1989. Batman. The wanting to go make the Justice League film development started right before that. It was right in the late 80s, around 87, 88. Now, also, George Miller directed Mad Max that we just reviewed the week before that on A Podcast Odyssey. So I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to connect him to that. But now you tell me, William, Mark, Cyber, if you know, as far as this Flashpoint deal goes, can you flush this out in one film, or is this something that has to extend out into another film in order to,
It's a lot because now you're involving Reverse Flash. You're bringing some other characters that are redone different. Captain Marvel isn't really Captain Marvel or Shazam. He's Captain Thunder, and all the kids are involved when they make him versus it just being Billy Batson. There's a lot of changes that you have to make.
Can I let me throw this out there? You can, but it won't be impactful.
Yeah, you got to spread that thing out.
What made Flashpoint impactful was the hard reset of the entire DC continuity up till that point. The beloved continuity that started with Crisis on Infinite Earths for a lot of people. And so when you get to Flashpoint, you're talking about legacy readers who have been with this company for years and years and years, and them doing things to characters and changing things, and you're like, oh my god, Girl Joker, and all, there was all kinds of crap that was
Batman's
in
dad being
dad
being Batman.
Right. So it would be kind of like you just starting with the Infinity Gauntlet day one. Yep. Like, no lead in, you don't even know who the fuck Thanos is. You're like, we're just gonna go ahead and do an Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Hell, Superman wasn't even Superman, really.
Right. So that's the problem with Flashpoint, is that it should be an end point, not your beginning point. But let me tell you, Jeff, you brought us, William and I, on to kind of fill in the blanks with a lot of stuff about DC films and comics. That's a pattern with DC. Like, they went from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman is Avengers level. You have to build up to it. They were like, Chapter 2, Batman v Superman. Like, no. And then even in the film itself, Doomsday is your final boss. Doomsday is responsible for killing Superman in the comics. Day one, we went right to Doomsday. We went right to killing Superman in 2 movies. This is a pattern and not a great one.
I get what you're saying.
And how many times have we seen Doomsday clones be brought back to be a challenge? And I think it's next month. They're about to do a more powerful version of Doomsday in the comics, and he helped. More than likely, you may see another Death of Superman art, unless you're just gonna take Superman to be Superman 1 million, and he comes down and destroy this new Doomsday.
I was gonna say, the more times you kill Superman, the less impactful it becomes.
Yep. And I just think it's like Dragon Ball Super when they keep going to freaking Frieza. Stop freaking going to Doomsday. It's always Doomsday. Stop
like
it.
I said. It would be like starting, the first Marvel movie ever. Instead of doing Iron Man, they do Civil War, and then the second one they do Infinity Gauntlet. You're like, bro, you can, I suppose, but this doesn't really leave a lasting impact, and no one's gonna know what the hell you're doing.
Nope. And they wonder why DC films don't do that well.
Okay, so before we get into, let's take a break from the direction of where things are going to go with DC. Warner Brothers Discovery. What's been put out as far as their 10-year plan? That's not been not very detail heavy, but sort of
too late.
Based off of sort of like the MCU formula to some degree. Which why wouldn't you mimic that, right? I mean, I think anybody would. Logically.
But the problem is Marvel went into it with a 10-year plan in mind.
Yeah.
DC is using this. DC is using this as a fallback.
More specifically,
to redo it.
Marvel had Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige had the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay? He had a Bible that ends at least book 1, with the Infinity Gauntlet. And while there was some degree of creativity given to different directors, for the most part, everyone had to stay on game plan, and the game plan never changed, and the guy coaching the game plan never changed. The problem with DC, very specifically, is they're in 3 or 4 different iterations of a game plan, and the game plan has changed 3 and 4 different times. So you've had multiple leaders, you've had multiple directions, you've had multiple visions. This is just since Man of Steel. It's not that long ago. We're talking about a 10-year period. I think Man of Steel is what, 2012?
2012. Yeah.
Think of it this way. Think of it like Jeff's running his podcast here. One week Jeff's running it, the next week Alexis is running it, and the two of them have 2 completely different ways of doing a podcast and a completely different vision. And then the third week Cyber's doing it, and he's like, we're not even going to do comic books anymore. We're going to talk about fucking, string instruments. Why would anyone continue to watch this? Like, you would lose people immediately. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. None of this makes any sense. Harps are pretty, but I don't know what you're doing.
Again, I'll go back to it. It's like when they did the reboot on a New 52. This 10-year plan is similar with the DCEU. You can't keep blowing up something that you already established that fans know. Then you go blow it up again, and they got to reinvest themselves in the product once again. And
think of it this way, like
what does that have to fans?
They created this plan to where they're going to create big and small pictures. So big picture, Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Black Adam. Small pictures, Batgirl, Blue Beetle. Within a year or two, they blew it up, and somebody new has a different vision, and Batgirl gets canceled.
Yep. I would have came out with Batgirl. I said that on Geek Gauntlet. I would have came out with Batgirl just to try to recoup some of my money.
Apparently, it was more cost saving to just cut the thing and throw it in the trash.
Aren't they gonna? And then they can be then they can claim get a tax break.
Yeah, that's why. But that's you ever watch Wall Street? Why are you wrecking this company? Because it's wreckable. That's why.
It's wreckable. That's why. But I would have came out with it just when you came out with Catwoman, and Catwoman was trash.
It's a different decade. Hey,
I know it's a different decade. Whoa.
Trash.
I will
Halle Berry, fight you on Catwoman. Catwoman
outside of Halle Berry, of course.
Catwoman is a piece of avant-garde art. It was amazing.
But look,
it was like a Jackson Pollock painting.
But look, I'm just saying, if you came out with that, you might as well just come out with Batgirl.
It wasn't a quality, but it wasn't a quality thing, William. It was. It was kind of. They Discovery came in, looked around at Warner Brothers, broke all the furniture, threw it in the fire, and said, "This will save us on electricity. We'll have heat now."
Right,
because we burned all the furniture.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I guess as a premise or like a side topic to start things off as we really get into it before we jump into Shazam 2, play the trailers, Black Adam, excuse me, dig into that, get Mark in, get William in, get Cyber on that, whatnot, everybody's thoughts, opinions, expectations. And we then work into, the real, conversation that we're already sort of having about is, the how is this going to boil down to the vision or the plan or the direction of DC Films, Warner Brothers Discovery. How's this all going to play out? I just want to point out really quickly, reflecting off of William and Mark from Zaslav, the CEO of, Warner Brothers Discovery. Let's look at the opportunities that we have broadly. DC is at the top of the list for us. You look at Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. These are brands that are known everywhere in the world. The ability to drive those all over the world with great stories is a big opportunity for us. We've done a reset. He said it. We've done a reset. We restructured the business where we were going to focus. There will be a team with a 10-year plan. Focusing just on DC. It's very similar to the structure that Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Kevin Feige at Disney. So there you go, right? I mean, it's right there at that point. Yeah, they are copying the same exact formula essentially, but why wouldn't you?
My anxiety about that is when Zaslav gets replaced and somebody else comes in and says, you know, hey, you ever seen the Jeff or Cyber? You ever seen the movie The Wiz?
Oh yeah,
Which is the African American iteration of the Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
Think Richard Pryor as Oz, where he's walking around Oz and he's just like, I prefer purple, and everything turns purple. And like another minute later, he's like, now blue, and all of the Emerald City turns blue.
My
That
issue
feels-
is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That feels like the way Warner Brothers is currently being run, where every 5 minutes somebody's coming in with a new vision. So I hear what you're saying, Jeff, and they printed what the guy said, except that when he gets fired, somebody else comes in with a new vision and now prefers purple.
Okay, well, Cyber, you tell me. Cyber, you tell me, and then I'll go to you, William.
Mhm.
Does that even make a difference, though, if they really do follow through with this statement right here? If they're going to build a team, not a Justice League team, a team like Kevin Feige's team at Marvel Studios that he's had for years, his inner circle and whatnot. I'm not going to try to drop their names right now and whatnot, but all you guys know who I'm talking about. That 5, 6, 7 person group that's basically been a part of everything, essentially, almost from jump. Esposito, I forget the woman's name and whatnot, that now I think basically is under Kevin Feige at Marvel Comics. But basically, if they're going to copy that same model, they're going to hire some type of Kevin Feige leader to sort of run the film division in terms of DC Cyber. At that point, if they have that person in charge and he's running that division, what difference does it make who's running the show on top?
Well, yeah, if you have a solid person in charge of a division, most certainly having that top person really doesn't make a difference. Even though they still are the ones that are going to be crossing the T's and I's, saying what could be done. But just like with Feige, with Disney, Feige has shown that he can do these decisions without them. So that's the difference unfortunately, for Warner Brothers Discovery, is they haven't found that person yet to be able to do that and to get that same formula going. But I foresee, if they're smart, they would get Jeff Johns, that did the CW stuff, to come in and start doing some researching around there to bring what he brought to the CW before it went to crap.
Okay, let me interject there. They tried, he got fired.
I was about to say that.
Well, I did not hear that.
My issue is the fact you haven't extended a lot of shows that are doing well. You haven't extended Young Justice to season 5. Season 4 is on the way, but you have yet to extend Young Justice to season 5. Needs to be extended, by the way. I don't know what Stargirl's future is going to be after this coming season. So it's left with a doubt of uncertainty on shows that's doing well right now.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue with what's going on.
Sorry, William.
Titans, I hope they don't do anything. I heard Titans might be on the chopping block. Same thing with Doom Patrol. So it's just uncertainty, and I hate that.
That would break my heart. That would break my heart. Doom Patrol was Watchmen quality. It's really one of the best show, not even just comic book shows, but the best shows. Cyber, I want to address your point real quick. Because I don't disagree with you in theory. My problem is practice. If you have a guy who holds the Bible and is in command of the vision, like a Kevin Feige, and let's just go ahead and say they bring back Jeff Johns. So that's fine. My problem is they have done that. Zack Snyder was the Kevin Feige for a little bit. Jeff Johns was the Kevin Feige for a little bit. They keep, Walter Hamada, I think they were like, you're going to be the new Kevin Feige because we're not going to have a Kevin Feige. We're just let you do it. They keep changing it every other year. And every time they do, the vision changes with it. That's why there's no cohesiveness or continuity in any of these DC films. I'm going to throw this also out there. Now they're talking about, well, we're going to do more of a Marvel thing where we're going to have, a 10-year plan that leads to a big event. Okay, before that, we're going to have no plan, and we're just going to let directors make director-driven artsy DC films. So if one guy wants to go make an editorial on the condition of the angry male and call it Joker, we're going to let him do that. And if this guy over here wants to do a noir Batman story, we're going to let him do that. And who the fuck cares if any of this stuff connects to each other? Which I'm at a point, and I think in terms of, you know, making money and trying to like build a fan base might actually be better off. Like at this point, we've had so many starts and stops with the cinematic universe. Blah, by the way, because I'm really tired of that phrase. Maybe just stop doing it and just like, hey, how about we just make a good picture? Like, I'll just throw this out there as an example, and then I behave myself and shut up and let you guys talk. James Wan made a beautiful picture with Aquaman. It connected to almost nothing. He just kind of did Flash Gordon underwater. Mm-hmm. It was great. And it made over $1 billion. And yes, it connects, but not really. You know, there was something in Aquaman that was like, oh, you had to have seen Justice League to know what's happening. No, you didn't. You didn't have to see any of these. You could have literally just walked in Tabula Rosa to Aquaman and had just as good a time. That seems to be a better way going forward so that this shit doesn't keep happening.
Same with that first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Well,
that first Wonder Woman was darn
near
perfect.
Let me go across on that real quick, because I agree with you, Mark. I thought Aquaman was really well done. I thought it was a great film. Really didn't understand why anybody didn't had any problem with it, really. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay. What'd you think, Cyber, William? Cyber, then you, William. I mean, what'd you think of Aquaman? Was it okay? You think it was a solid film?
I saw it 3 times in theaters. That's how good I thought it was. So I thought it was very well done. I thought James Wan did a great job. I mean, I love James Wan as a director, period, anyways. Ever since he did Saw, I have been in love with him. So I would go see it if it was the most crappiest movie. If James Wan directs it, I'll watch it. So,
did you see Malignant?
I have not watched that.
Oh my God! If you like James Wan,
yeah, you like that
the
movie.
Most James Wan-y movie ever. It's so good.
My only issue with that movie is my only issue with that movie is I wasn't in it. That was my only issue. I wanted to be Black Manta. That was my only issue, that I wasn't in it. But past that, it was a great movie. I thought it was a great movie. And you're right. I mean, connect to hardly nothing. But I thought that was a good movie. I thought that first Wonder Woman movie was great. The second one was trash, but the first one was very, very good. And I agree. If you stop trying to connect it, particularly if you're DC, because your 10-year plan ain't gonna work. You're too deep. You're too deep in at this point. So to come up with good individual films and go from there.
Okay.
I think Flashpoint is a good point to rectify all that, though. They could help recreate and reconnect in a good way if they are smart enough to figure that out, to really reconnect it all so that they can have a more fluent, cohesive
Here's what I'll tell you. In this imaginary scenario that we're all kind of kicking the ball around with, if they say, okay, Jeff Johns is going to run everything, then leave Jeff Johns alone for the next fucking 20 years. So just stop fucking with him. Whoever comes in to Warner Brothers Discovery, Pornhub, just leave it alone. Just like, work on dealing with your stock price and, you know, your distribution deals and whatnot. And like how Disney really didn't bother Kevin Feige, don't bother Jeff Johns or whoever it ends up being. My problem is, and I keep coming back to this, is they don't leave him alone and they keep firing people. So I don't, like I said, Cyber, it's not that I disagree with you from a creative standpoint. It's the pattern of not being able to maintain your people in charge for more than a year or two at a time.
It's like it's like you're looking for a particular type of yes man, is what I think they try to do. I kind of put it to like Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Mike McCarthy's just there because he's a yes man. That's the only reason why he's there. And that's why I kind of think DC is Warner Brothers looking for that type of yes man that will go in a direction that they want the director to go down, not his own vision.
If anyone that's ever worked has known that when a new manager comes in, they kind of want to put their own stink on things.
Yep.
And so they kind of throw out everybody else, and they'll keep a few people that know how to do shit. But for the most part, they just like clean house and bring in their own people. That's the pattern.
Yep. Every so often, clean house, new,
right.
Clean house, new, and not developing any continuity with what's going on.
Sure. And I think that's one of the things that's really, and again, that's why I really can't see how you can't go wrong trying to formulate or copy what Kevin Feige and what Marvel Studios put in place. What they ended up, with the direction they ended up going.
Because they stayed consistent with him.
They left him alone.
They left him alone to do his own thing. That's why. And
That's
DC
right.
DC won't do that. Warner Brothers won't do that.
Could you imagine the meeting that Kevin Feige had to go to where he's like, "So I want to do a movie about a talking tree and a raccoon. Get the fuck out of here!" Like,
if if they really want to copy this formula, then they have to really copy it to the T. At that point, that means that they have to stick to a plan no matter what, and almost have an underlying understanding that if they want to make money and be profitable off their film division with the DC comics characters and that entire universe and whatnot, and that they see that as their number one priority, as Zablov said or whatever, right? The top of their list. At that point, you have to stay away and let your run the show. Keep your plan, stick to it, right? Let it play out over 10 years. You have to.
Egos cannot get in the way. Egos cannot get in the way of certain egos might be getting in the way.
Religious commitment to this. Religious commitment.
Before I ask you all about Joker and the Batman and it being actually outside of DCEU continuity, and that whole deal, the fact that they have that also going on right now, the turmoil, the sort of complicated type dynamic they have going on with the entire DC TV film realm right now, where things are kind of all over the place in a way. I just want to point out that again, I think that it's very possible that they can hit a hard reset right now and just say, you know what, we are going to really get our shit together.
I'll say this though. You've done it with DC animated. DC animated is fantastic. They're terrific. They were the Killing Joke was terrible. But before that point, oh my God, the Killing Joke was terrible. But before that point, they were doing things right. So if you can capture some of the stuff they did and bring it over to the DCEU, you'll be that better off. Because like I said, there's not that many bad DC animated movies.
Are you a wrestling fan at all?
Yes, I am.
So you know how every one of us was like, we hope Vince McMahon doesn't pay attention to NXT and ruins Matt Riddle?
Oh yeah.
That was so for a while there, the DC animated universe was NXT. Like no one's paying any attention to this, and it's no one's paying any attention, and it's the best shit ever. The minute they paid attention to it, broke all the furniture, set the house on fire, and walked away.
Yeah, because Killing Joke was terrible.
It's not just Killing Joke. A lot of the most recent DCEU shit. Dude, did you see that travesty that was the interactive animated film?
Oh yeah,
of Death in the Family. Oh
yeah, I didn't like that at all.
It was so bad,
garbage.
The last couple of DC again, they would hit rock solid fucking home runs with all their DC animated stuff.
War.
And then they hit this point where they just destroyed it all, and like I said, they started paying attention to what was happening over there. Like, oh, the films are too good, we must ruin them.
Let's destroy them quickly.
And much like my love of wrestling, I just stopped watching after a while. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Sorry.
Can't do it no more. Yeah, I can't do it.
Okay, so real quick, go to you, Cyber. Starting this off, let's get into really quick Joker, okay? And then just really quick, we'll talk about the Batman and touch on Robert Pattinson's The Batman. Before we drop the trailers on Black Adam and we get into Shazam 2 and get into that, what our thoughts and expectations are going to be with those films. I just want to point out these movies right now that have already occurred, simply because we've all, I think mostly of all of us have already reviewed these films probably to some extent, but at the same time, I think that this is an underlying issue where this does present a hurdle in terms of pushing a hard reset right now. When you have this sort of discombobulation going on where you don't have that connectivity right across the board that the MCU had and did have throughout the Infinity Saga, where everything was on the same level, the same page. You had that continuity right across the mass spectrum. At that point, when you have the Joker come out and do as well as it did, right? Okay, that again does not fall into the actual DCEU universe or play into it. Going with you, Cyber. First of all, just real quick, your initial, your thoughts on the Joker, the fact that we're going to get a Joker 2 in fall of 2024 with Lady Gaga in it. Love Lady Gaga. And what it says or what it means in terms of this hard reset that they want to push, that they still have these productions, and they're releasing them that are outside of the actual universe.
So I don't think that this new Joker or the Batman are gonna influence this at all. I think that this is still their other projects that they're doing on the side, especially with the Joker. The Joker is completely outside of the universe. It's its own universe. It's its own thing. So I think those are the reason why those ones are kind of like gun ho go forward is because they do not connect to any of the other DCU movies at this point. And I think that is going to be kind of their go-to for right now, that are going to help people re-entice them into wanting more from Warner Brothers for the DCU content. So, I mean, a lot of people loved Joker in 2019. They thought it was a masterpiece. They thought Joaquin Phoenix was amazing, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with the Batman. They did, it was considered a huge masterpiece as well. It was different. It was Batman Year 2 versus it being, a fully fledged Batman for a very long time, all this kind of stuff. So they were definitely original in what they were bringing out with these. So I think that's why these are doing so well, is because they are so not connected to the DCU at all. And so I think that's the reason why, just like everyone else has been saying, William and Mark have been saying, just make standalone films. That's what these films are doing. And that kind of reapplies what they're talking about.
Okay. Mark, what do you think? What do you think about the fact that they are still following on with these releases and whatnot that are outside of the universe, while at the same time they're saying they're hitting this hard reset and they have this 10-year plan, right? I mean,
I think
what does that tell you?
I think there's room in this world to do art pieces separate from your continuity. So just take, for example, what if, while we were racing towards the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity War and Endgame in the Marvel, someone was like, but I want to do Squirrel Girl Kills the Marvel Universe, the movie. There's room in this universe for that. In a separate continuity, in a separate universe somewhere, why not make this really fun picture?
I've already mentioned, Mark, I'd like to make a special private movie with Squirrel Girl myself.
Damn.
Get that tail up in the air. Anyway,
pull that tail to the side, baby.
Oh yeah, wiggle it just a little
man.
bit. But listen, there is room in this universe for art pieces separate from the continuity if somebody has a vision and a point of view and something that they feel like they need to say. Brings me to my second point. Joker did all that. That's why it made $1 billion. It touched all of us angry neckbeards, in ways nobody has. And sorry, making a joke, but no, it spoke to enough men in the world that we showed up in droves multiple times and brought it to $1 billion. Here's my problem, and I always have a problem. I don't think anybody who made a decision to greenlight a second one knows that that's why it made $1 billion. I think in their lizard brain, they went, oh, the Joker's popular. It's Batman adjacent. And that's why the nerds and the neckbeards and, and the trolls came out and saw this thing. No. You've missed the point entirely. Hear me. That's not why it made $1 billion. It made $1 billion because angry fucking people went and saw this and went, hey, finally, we're not being ignored. Hot dog. And it just happens to star a famous comic book character. That thing was an editorial on detachment and disassociation in society. No one seems to understand that. And I know that because we're getting a musical as the sequel with Harley Quinn, which tells me somebody's in a room somewhere going, what else is popular in Batman? The Joker broad.
We do. What else can we do? We can do a Clayface miniseries.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think this next one's going to do very well because I think it's going to miss the point. It's going to miss that editorial point of view. It's not going to speak to people. And it's going to be, oh, what's more popular Batman stuff? Put that in the movie. And this thing is going to bomb hard. And it's not going to bomb hard because it wasn't part of the continuity or any of that stupid shit. It's going to bomb hard because it misses the entire point of why Joker was popular in the first place.
And I get that. I get that. But William, you tell me, I get the deal with the Joker. I get it that this Joker character in this Joker film, it probably wouldn't have worked with an extended universe anyway. Maybe I don't know. It was sort of an artsy, individualistic type of film or production. Yep. But William, you tell me. Again, I mean, is it a big deal? Is it negative at all, or is it just business?
It's not negative at all. I don't think. I think
we're going to continue on with the Batman, and you know, we're going to have Matt Reeves doing the series on HBO Max with Gotham and everything, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's a positive thing. It does keep your fan base interested per se. Hey, you're doing an anime all the time. When you see the last Dragon Ball movie wasn't really connected to nothing. Hell, there wasn't even canon. It wasn't even canon. They still came out with it. It's not doing that well right now, but they do it all the time.
The last Dragon Ball movie, the one that came out
last Dragon Ball,
number one movie of the weekend this past weekend.
But before that weekend release, when it first came out, because it got leaked on YouTube when it first came out, so a lot of people saw it on YouTube. And when it first came out, it didn't do that well. Now it's starting to catch up a little bit, but Screen Rant came out with an article saying it wasn't even canon, and it's like it's always being done, and I think you need to come out with little individual pieces just to keep the fans satisfied and interested in your product until your 10-year plan comes into vision. Now, my issue is that's 10 years. Are you gonna be invested and interested in their 10-year plan, seeing what the stuff they've already done? That's my issue. Because if you didn't like what was done previously, you watched it because you were a fan. You wanted to support it. You might not have liked it, but are you going to be interested with what they do coming down the pike? That's going to be my thing.
That's actually a really good point. If you look at, they didn't just make a bunch of movies that led to this big event picture. They told a story, and they told it in little chapters. And not everyone, look, Thor: The Dark World didn't do like good numbers. I think almost all of Phase 1, short of Iron Man, didn't do great numbers. What did great numbers was the Avengers, but this was these little chapters that led to this big story. And then you look at Phase 2, that led up to Age of Ultron, and they just kind of rinse, repeat until we got to the very end of the story. So what they did, so if you're not into Iron Man, but you are a huge Captain America fan, you went and you saw Captain America, and then he shows up in the Avengers with Iron Man, and you're like, oh, this is a pretty cool character. Let me see his, and now you're hooked. So to your point, and I'm going to validate your point by saying they need some breadcrumbs to throw down, some low cost, they need some Phase 1 breadcrumbs, because none of Phase 1 was particularly impactful. Like Iron Man's a good movie and everything, but like none of that stuff was like, oh my God, it changed the world. It
wasn't groundbreaking.
No, exactly. And so it was like, oh, there's a little Thor picture here and a little Captain America there and a Hulk thing somewhere in the wind. And then we got the Avengers.
Yep.
So what breadcrumbs? So we keep going back to Flashpoint. Okay, but what happens after Flashpoint? What little breadcrumbs follow Flashpoint? What character? So like Tony was the anchor. Iron Man was kind of the anchor of the whole thing all the way through. Who's your anchor character? Is it going to be Superman? Is it going to be Batman? Is it going to be Jeff? Who the fuck knows?
Jeff.
You're muted.
You're muted, buddy. I know a lot of people want to see Blue Beetle. I'm in the minority. I'm not a fan either.
There's two different versions of Blue Beetle. There's a white one and a Hispanic one, right?
Yeah. You got Ted Cord. You got Ted Cord was the first. Jaime Reyes is the second.
How much you want to bet there's going to be like an angry debate on Twitter that they didn't do the right Blue Beetle because he's not white?
I wouldn't doubt it. That's
what I'm waiting for.
Well, so I guess just to kind of wrap this up and whatnot in terms of this entire query, again, like you just pointed out bouncing off what you just said, Mark, and what you sort of like asked as far as like who's the Captain America, who's the Tony Stark, the Iron Man, to sort of I guess be the leader or like be the top dog in your Marvel, in your DC cinematic universe type deal. With the Batman being sort of going in his own direction right now, that really makes you wonder, kind of. I mean, of course, Superman's still there. We haven't had Henry Cavill in over 5 years as Superman.
He's rumored to be in Marvel stuff now.
Yeah, we've been hearing that. I know I've been seeing that. He's been rumored to be in Marvel Cinematic Universe for years. going to play Captain Britain forever, and but
Mhm.
no, he's also said at the same time that he doesn't
Hyperion.
want to do another Superman film. I don't know if he's contractually, obligated to do one at all, if he, or not. I'm not sure. But again, Cyber, what do you think? I mean, does that detract from the overall plans, of of DC films cinematically as a universe, that you have the Batman sort of in its own direction, doing its own thing?
No.
It's okay. You can eliminate. No,
That's
okay.
I have nothing else to add to that except for that. Yeah, I don't think it deters from it all because, like I was saying before, it's its own little thing. It's its own little offshoot. It has nothing to do with the continuation. So it's that basic. That's
right. And honestly, you tell me, William, even if they decided to bring Snyder back and do Justice League again, Justice League 2, right? With Ben Affleck as Batman, you could still have Pattinson's Batman, and you could have them coexist in that same cinematic.
You still could. You still could. But because the continuation would be separate at that point.
It would.
You still could, but
is that oversaturation?
I don't think so, because because if you're in that particular instance with Robert Pattinson's Batman, it's from a different time period. It's from his younger time period. So you might be okay because of that point. So I think they would be fine. Because you see enough evidence with Robert Pattinson to know, hey, I'm year 2 Batman or year 3 if you go into that next one, versus Justice League Batman is already established.
Sure, he has gray hair and everything to some extent and whatnot. But Mark, honestly, you tell me if I think the fans overall, if I understand the fans correctly in the DC fandom, they would like to see the Justice League 2 film done with Snyder, if that was a possibility. They'd like that to happen.
But didn't they already say they were out on Snyder for that though? That's what I thought I saw. Well,
you tell me, Mark. Wouldn't that possibly throw off the hard reset to some extent if they actually did decide to keep that, to reinvigorate and keep that going?
Not necessarily. I mean, you're talking about, directors or craftsmen. If you tell him, hey, here's the movie you're going to make, and there's a script, the script follows a continuity. There's a story here, and you're like, okay, you're not here to create a new vision or anything like that. You're here to almost like a director for hire thing, but we like your style, we like your aesthetic, so come in and do. It's got like Edgar Wright with Ant-Man, like come in and Edgar Wright this thing up for us. But you still have to follow the guidelines and follow the script we gave you, which is why he didn't last on that project, by the way. He ended up getting Peyton, whatever the hell his name was. So you could absolutely look, if Zack Snyder wants to come in as a kind of a director for hire thing and just kind of put his artsy spin on whatever script they give him, I don't see why that's a problem. Not everybody has to be a writer director and push a vision forward. You can just carry out orders.
Can that whole deal coexist along with the reset? Can they build in the direction moving forward for the future?
I think you're asking me, is this going to confuse? I think you're asking almost.
He's asking, is it going to confuse the fans if you keep doing that
that's
way,
what I thought this was going.
but then move forward?
Probably, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares?
Look,
that's on the fan at that point.
Right. If you're sitting in the theater going, I understand. What continuity am I watching? It's fine. You'll enjoy the movie just the same.
As a loose DC fan myself, I'd love to see Snyder come back and do Justice League 2. I feel like business that needs to be done.
Plus, it's Batman. I mean, at the end of the day, who hates Batman?
Well, I was gonna say, like, Zack Snyder I thought he did a really good job with Army of the Dead. He's not a bad director. I know, even Watchmen. I don't love the movie. I love the series. It's phenomenal. It's like right up there with The Wire.
The series is amazing.
Oh, the series is peak TV. But and while I didn't love his iteration of The Watchmen, that's not necessarily because he's a bad director. He's a very artsy, very vision directed director. So I think you give him some parameters to work with, and if he's not going to let his ego get in the way of it, I think you can get a really nice picture out of him.
Well,
plus we got John Jones.
Hey, I think Watchmen was a great freaking movie. I really did. I thought it was well cast. But
Can I just say we got John Jones at the end of that, and it's like I've been waiting for John Jones to make a appearance in the DCEU, and it's like we finally got it, and then now you tell us he's
Be
not gonna
happy
come.
with Supergirl and shut up already. No, I'm just kidding.
we're way behind on doing it. But Cyber and I recently were talking about it, and I actually we've got a new female guest coming on. That's has a podcast herself named Abigail. She's going to be doing our She-Hulk episode 2 review on Friday evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, live on the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel, Rumble, Twitter Live, Facebook Live, all those wonderful places, Twitch. Bottom line, we're talking about doing a Snyder Cut review for the first time, finally, like a 4-parter, and they'd be like combining it and doing 2 shows over there by her and then 2 by us. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope we end up doing it. I'd love to. I've always wanted to review Snyder Cut.
Cool.
Alexis, Robert, and I did it when it came out. We just did the whole thing, audio only because we weren't doing StreamYard at the time. And I believe we all were not glowing, but we definitely were positive on it. I'll tell you this much: it is a far superior piece of art than the Frankensteinian garbage that was the Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder abomination 2017 version.
I never watched it. I still need to.
Don't.
I mean,
You don't need to.
Fucking skip it.
You don't need to.
No,
Yeah.
it's trash.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Shazam 2. All right. Let's play the trailer and then let's jump into it.
I'm still mad. I'm
Stop,
still
stop.
mad. I'm still mad that Mary Marvel got recast, but that's just me.
Well, starting off, I guess probably logically, I guess Mark, what are your thoughts on Shazam 2 based off just what do you think of the trailer?
Oh, I think it's great. I'm really excited about the movie. I'm a little annoyed it got pushed to March, but that is no longer the correct time. It's not Christmas anymore. But it looks great. It looks a lot of fun. I took my kids to see the first one when it came out. It was a breath of fresh air. It was so bright and airy and fun and not the dreary, depressing, fucking suicidal Zack Snyder universe that we were getting before. Like it had this really wonderful color palette to it. It was comedic and my kids loved it. I had a great time with it. I'm excited for this one. This one looks like they up the ante, they up the action. It's a little familiar in the, the second movie is always the one where the superhero is sort of questioning themselves, and is struggling with being a superhero. But there's a reason why.
Yes, Satan.
There's a reason why familiar sells as much as it does. People they don't like different, they like familiar. So the fact that this is following in typical superhero trope sequels is fine with me. This isn't meant to win an Academy Award. This isn't Nomadland. It's fucking Shazam. It's fine that it's familiar, and I'm excited for it.
Okay, William, what do you think?
I mean, like I said it before. I'm mad that Mary Marvel got recast. I was a big fan of the young lady that played her before, but it's all good. But I think it's great because you saw some changes from the first one. You saw the suits got upgraded. I love that. That was fantastic. It looks like the action's been upped a little bit, as was previously said. I like that too. I think it's gonna be a great fun movie. Movie that you can go take your kids to see, and a movie that your kids might be able to relate to a little bit, which is a little bit different for a lot of movies. Your kids might be able to
classic hero. That classic hero power fantasy that appeals to kids. I hope that is what makes it successful. That people are like, yes, this is the movie to bring your kids to.
Yep.
Cybernetic Shark. I'm sorry, William. Cybernetic Shark. What are your thoughts on the Shazam 2 trailer? Did it do anything for you? Did you enjoy it?
Oh God! As soon as they dropped it, I watched it like 5 times because I absolutely loved the first film. I think the first film was perfection in the DCU. And when they said, they were coming out with a sequel finally, I was like, thank God. I'm a little upset that it took them so long to get this one out, especially because Billy Batson has matured quite a bit in the last 4 years.
He's like 30 now.
He's like 23.
24 now. Come on.
And so I was a little perturbed by that, but this trailer looks fantastic. I love the soundtrack. I thought that the song they chose was really fun for it. I love that scene with him with a pediatrician. That's PJ Bryan that's in that scene.
Yep.
He's a character actor that has been in several films over the last 20 years. And I think that scene just shows what Shazam is about and that comedy element that they bring. But yeah, definitely the improvement on the suits. I agree with Mark and William. And I just love the whole family dynamic there too with the film. And I love that they brought back majority of the people that were in the first film that played the superhero versions of those kid characters. And I absolutely love that kid that plays the Crutch Boy. I forget what his name is. The kid in real life is actually related to Brian Grazer. He's his nephew. And Dylan Frazier, I think is his name, Grazer. But anyways, I love that kid. I think I was so glad to see that he was coming back to play that same character again, because I think he was absolutely hilarious in the first one. And but yeah, this just looks like it's gonna be action packed. Bringing in Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren too, and seeing Digimon Huzon back too. I was like really shocked. I'm like, I thought he died in the last one, so I was interested in seeing him again too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is all about too as well. Looks really good though. I can't wait to see it.
Like I said, I was just upset Michelle Borth wouldn't. I don't know that whole story why she wasn't brought back. I was kind of disappointed with that. I loved her in Hawaii 5-0 back in the day on CBS to be Mary Marvel. But shout out to Megan Good for coming back. I got to give her a shout out for that. She looks good in that suit, so I gotta give Megan Good her props. Oh my goodness! But the only thing that pisses me off is the fact, and I get you have to give everybody an origin story. I get it, I understand it, but damn man, we're on Shazam 2. Black Adam's coming out. How come we just couldn't get those two to go at it in the first one? Damn it! I'm just saying. I know it doesn't make sense. But at the same point,
because you don't start with Hogan versus Andre, that's why you have to build up to Hogan. We're only on Hogan versus King Kong Bundy, buddy.
I know, but daggone it, man, come on.
By the way, can I have aged myself anymore with those references? I'm 100.
They've got an interesting.
Shout out King Kong Bundy.
They've got an interesting DC comic, Greek mythology type aspect of the film where you've got Helen Mirren playing Hespera. Who is Atlas's daughter. She's a goddess.
Yep.
The goddess of immortality. You've got Lucy Liu playing Calypso, also one of Atlas's daughters. You've got Athena, also a daughter of Atlas. And essentially, you've got Derek Russo playing Atlas. You've got the mythical creatures. That dragon looked awesome. Apparently, there's going to be Cyclops in the film. I didn't see the Cyclops in the trailer, but apparently there's going to be Cyclops, unicorns, harpies, manticores, whatever the hell that is. So essentially,
like a scorpion lion deal, a manticore.
Yeah, I think it has a scorpion tail with like a lion head or something like that, right? But no, I thought I think
didn't you see the one that just came out or came out in 2020 actually? Chris Pratt did the voice and
Onward.
Onward, thank you. Yeah, the manticore in that is the big beast that they go see at the tavern.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Played by Wanda Sykes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I mean, honestly, I love that scene with the pediatrician. I mean, the humor seems really good. It doesn't seem forced in this. I mean, we'll see how it projects like over the course of the span of the whole film.
It did seem the humor did seem to come off flowing naturally.
Yeah, it did, and I think that again, it's definitely positive that it's family welcome and kid friendly. It seems anyway. And at that point, I guess it'll be interesting to see as we get into Black Adam here in a minute, how they play Black Adam. I believe Black Adam, they already said it's going to be PG-13, right? Or have they not stated it?
I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it's going to be PG-13.
That's what I thought.
With that lineup that you have in there and those actors that are in there, I'm assuming it's going to be PG-13.
Well, we're going to lose Mark here in a minute. So before we dive into our next topic and whatnot, I guess just to give Mark a chance to kind of vent and get his words in and whatnot and everything to close things out on this whole, again, diving into the whole spectrum of the 10-year plan, the strategy of whatever with DC, with the future of DC films and of DC television. right? Which is something where we of course we needed William on, we needed Mark on. You tell me, Mark. Oh great, here goes Tippy, son of a bitch. You don't know about Tippy yet, Mark. Cyber's very freak. Knows all about her. So does William. But basically, you tell me, Mark. Again, based off what we've already put out there and everything and whatnot, and what I know you've already heard, just like I've heard in the articles and everything that's been put out in the media that has come off of the Discovery Warner Brothers merge, and what the things publicly they've said. You tell me, where does this thing play out overall, long term?
My understanding of the strategy, at least that's been stated so far, for what that's worth, we're doing event pictures now. Big, ballsy, big time, expensive, $200 million event pictures, which means, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash. Yes, we're getting the Blue Beetle movie until it gets canceled. But, will we see the second tier DC characters show up in these things? Your Supergirls, your Batgirls, etc. Maybe, but they'll show up in other people's films. So, like, Black Widow doesn't get her own film. She shows up in Iron Man 2. I think that's the formula that we're getting. So you'll get a Superman movie with another, couple of characters that aren't big enough to hold up their own. You'll get a Green Lantern movie, but it'll have lesser known characters in it. And those people are not getting their own movies or their own shows or anything like that, which I think is fine. Here's what I hope to see happen. 1 or 2 DC pictures a year until they know firmly what we're doing and that the people in leadership roles are ensconced and protected and not on the verge of being fired perpetually. So let's just do 1 or 2 movies a year. Let's not rush a million movies into production just for them to get Batgirled. Let's take our time. Let's do some Batman. Let's do some Superman. Let's do some Wonder Woman, and see where that leads us. I did hear that because this was successful and it was critically acclaimed, we're getting a second season of Peacemaker. I would like to see some of the Peacemaker characters show up in other people's films. I think that would be pretty cool.
Cameos.
Yeah. I don't know if we're getting another version of Suicide Squad at this point, seeing as that second one, while I think it was critically acclaimed, I don't think the fans loved it. I think it was kind of 50-50. Because anecdotally, I know people that liked the Snyder Suicide Squad with Jared Leto, which is weird to me because that movie's trash. But they're like this one with James Gunn might have been a little too weird for most people. So I don't know if they're going to take a flyer on a third one. I'd like to see another version of Suicide Squad. I'd like to see James Gunn get another crack at it, and I'd like it to be released not during a pandemic. Let's see what happens. Or day and date on HBO, Discovery, Pornhub. So, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a third Wonder Woman that isn't hot garbage, because that second one, oof.
Now another Wish movie.
That
was a Wish movie. That's all that was.
Oh my god,
terrible.
So yeah, I don't know how much that answers your question, Jeff, but that's what I hope happens. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm very much a lot of people on my network tend to be negative, tend to downplay things, tend to shoot them down. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm a wait and see what happens kind of guy. Like, show me something and impress me, and I'll react accordingly. So far, not so much.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet Twitter will get mad if they do the wrong Green Lantern?
Guy Gardner, everyone. Oh.
Guy Gardner, everybody.
I feel pretty optimistic too, and that's not because I know a lot about Zaslav or because I know I have an inside scoop or whatever as far as what their plans are or what they're going to do or anything like that behind the scenes.
Hang on 1 second. No, William, they're going to do the wrong Green Lantern, but it's going to be the Muslim with a gun version.
Don't do that.
And Twitter will just explode. That'll be the end. What causes the end of Earth as we know it? Muslim Green Lantern with a gun. Thanks, everybody. I'm out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. Since you got a dip anyway, why don't you go ahead and plug, Belgian Broadcasting Network and whatnot.
Yes.
And everything. We'll send you off.
Thank you. So yeah, I have my own podcast as part of the W2M network. It's just go on YouTube or on any of your podcatchers and type in W2Mnet. You'll see all of my stuff, plus Sean Garmer's video game podcast. I'm down to 2 days a week now. I'm pretty much only doing Damn You Hollywood and the Metal Hammer of Doom, though there'll be some format changes going into the future where Metal Hammer of Doom is actually going to change to a strictly video format, and that'll be called the Metal Hammer of Doom Jukebox going forward. We're going to be introducing a new, much like Jeff's show here, I'm going to completely rip Jeff off and just steal his format, and it's going to be called Whiskey Rebellion. And we're going to have Jeff on that first show. That's going to come up in October. We're mostly, like I said, we're mostly just doing new movie reviews every Tuesday. Damn You Hollywood. You'll see it on YouTube on Wednesdays. It'll come up in your podcast feed on Wednesdays because we record it late Tuesday night. Check out our most recent ones for Prey, The Gray Man, Bullet Train, and I don't remember what was before Bullet Train, but pretty much any new movie of the week, we've covered them this year. We have a good time. We do a strict film craft review where we really break it down, and we talk about the various elements that go into making a film and whether or not it worked. Then we examine the financial side of it, the money, and then we do a critical review, which is essentially me reading Rotten Tomato reviews and Robert Winfrey screaming at critics. I want to take this time to talk about how much this year I've bullied Kevin Carr of Fat Guy at the Movies a lot. Every week I go, Kevin Carr, just harass this guy as much as I can. So that's always fun. So come listen to my podcast and listen to me harass a famous reviewer. Anyway, that W2Mnet.com is the website. W2Mnet on your podcatcher or YouTube feed. That's where we're at. We're also on Twitch, same place. Facebook, you can check it out. The Rattledge and Broadcasting Network Facebook page or the W2M one. And I'm at Mark Rattledge on Twitter. Do you make it so that you can see my name up there?
I can.
Okay.
I believe.
I'm also at Mark Rattledge on TikTok. You can see. So if you don't have time for an hour and a half to 2 hour podcast and you just want to hear 5 to 10 minutes of me complaining about how men are treated, all those clips are on my TikTok feed, as well as various other things. Hey, Jeff, did you know that we rented a sex house in North Carolina this past weekend? I bet you didn't, but if you want to know what the pictures of said sex house were, you can check it out on my TikTok feed.
Awesome. You know what, honestly, Mark? I have no idea. I don't understand why
go out with a bang.
I don't know why your names aren't popping up on the screen right now, like they usually are.
You said you were on Facebook, right?
Yes. Mark Rattledge LCSW, and then the Rattledge and Broadcasting Network Facebook page. All right, guys, that's my time.
All right, Mark.
I'm out of here.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
Yep.
Take care.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Anyway, there we go. No, I still cannot figure out where the hell the how you actually bring back the names on the images. Oh, here we go. Damn, it's right there. Bam. Sorry about that, Mark. Too late. Too late for you there, brother. But Cybernetic Shark, William, going into and off of Shazam and then bouncing, into Black Adam, which of course I believe that officially they released I believe 2 trailers for, and I think like a teaser at one point. When I went to look for the trailers for Black Adam, I found a lot of different trailers. Some of them look really legitimate. Those fan trailers look good. And some of them even have big numbers. So like it distracts you. When you see 6.5 million views on them, you think, oh, that must be official. But I was very careful trying to make sure I didn't get anything fake. Before we play the trailers, Cyber, what are your thoughts on Black Adam? I mean, going, just your initial thoughts, right now. Where do you stand with it as far as how you feel and what your expectations are with the film?
Well, I mean, from the trailer, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It looks like it's going to be a fun film. I'm looking forward to learning about Black Adam. I'm not very familiar with the character. I've heard of his name. I've seen the comics, but I never really read them. I absolutely love that Pierce Brosnan is playing Dr. Fate. I'm looking forward very much to seeing that. And it just looks like it's a looks like it's going to be a decent film. It looks like they put a lot of great effort into it. Shazam level, good quality, I feel it looks like. I think there's a lot of great little parts in the trailer that were so much fun. But I'm looking forward just something entertaining, fun that is, cohesive throughout the whole film and that just really adds to what the DCU has already brought in the last couple of years.
Okay. William, what are your thoughts?
I'm very interested in seeing Black Adam. Very familiar with them from Injustice, very familiar with them from the comics. I'm ecstatic to see him. All the Egyptian god powers that he possesses can go toe to toe with Superman. I'm very interested in seeing what he brings. Also, very interested to see the characters. We're going to see Dr. Fate. We're going to see Hawkman in this movie. So I'm very, very interested to see how they pull it off. I think they pulled off. I think the casting of Dwayne Johnson is great. That's going to be solid. And I just think the movie overall is going to be a nice, fun movie to watch. Might be a little bit on the violent side because of who Black Adam is, but other than that, I think it will be a good movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't think in this one situation, and again, I'm not an expert on Black Adam, but I feel like maybe as opposed to like with Marvel and Moon Knight and Daredevil, maybe they can make it work with Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam and have it be PG and not have it be real graphic and still play, you know, but still have heavy action in it and whatnot,
Yes.
you know. I mean, he is a very, charismatic actor. So, all right, we'll start off with what I believe is the teaser. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me play the first official trailer.
I'm an idiot.
Okay, great trailers. Great visuals. Must say that I don't know a lot about the Justice Society of America, but they look great. Love Dr. Fate, like Cyber already said. Pierce Brosnan, great job casting him, in that role in this film. I think he really ties things together for the film in a way, almost, at least from the outset. William, now that we dropped the trailers into play here, what'd you take out of them that then adds to, I guess, maybe your thoughts or your expectations of what Black Adam could end up being for this whole, for DC films right now?
It could be something different. It could be something than what we're not used to seeing, because a lot of people say he's a bad guy. To me, my opinion, he's more of an anti-hero than a bad guy. He'll team up with you like he did in Injustice if it meets his own goals. But make no mistakes about it. If you get in his way, he's gonna kill you. He's a terrific character to me. His power set is just based off some of the most powerful Egyptian gods. Just amazing. And he can go toe to toe with Superman with no problem. I think the film itself can be really good for the DC cinematic universe. In regards to just being different, bringing some different characters. You saw Atom Smasher in there. You saw Hawkman's first appearance, Dr. Fate's first appearance. So it can bring a lot of people back to the DC cinematic universe. And hopefully they stick around after to see what's next.
Isis, Sabek, Cyclone, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, who looked great. He looks awesome in the trailers whenever they show up.
I know a lot of people got issues with Hawkman, but my thing is Hawkman's also Egyptian. So get off this whole black-white crap that I saw on Facebook about 2 months ago. The guy who plays him is the same dude that played on Leverage. He's a terrific actor, and he's going to do this. He's going to do this character justice.
Who gives a shit if Hawkman is black or white?
Exactly. That's my point.
Well, either way, Cyber, same question to you. What if anything, to visualize, checking out the trailers and seeing those visuals and whatnot, what does that, I guess, bring to your opinions or your thoughts or your expectations of the film itself and how well it will play out?
I mean, the trailers definitely made me more want to see it. It definitely enticed me more, and it gave me better expectations of what to expect. from what we're given in the film. It looks like we'll have a little bit of comedy. It looks like we'll have lots of action. And I mean, just from those images of The Rock, as Black Adam, how big he got for the role.
Huge.
He is huge. He's like his size when he wrestled.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could definitely tell he put a lot of work into to get that physique for this role. So that's another thing to look for in this seeing his performances, all that work you put into looking like the character. So yeah, I mean, visually it's very appealing. It looks really awesome. I mean, we had those great images, like William was saying. We saw Hawkman, we saw Adam, we saw Dr. Fate, Cyclone and stuff like that. We got brief little glimpse of Cyclone. But overall, it just looks like it's going to be a pretty decently done film. It looks like Aquaman level, Shazam level, Snyder Cut level. I think it's going to be a pretty good addition to the DCU.
And shout out to the Justice Society real quick. This is kind of like their coming out party, so shout out to the Justice Society.
And that's well said, William. And I appreciate you mentioning that. But you guys feel like with Dwayne Johnson, with The Rock, and the way he is as an actor to begin with, and the type of comedic chops he already brings to the table, that it's almost like a necessity with him, if you're going to have him in the film anyway, to add some humor to Black Adam no matter what, just because it is Dwayne Johnson. So that makes sense.
Well, seeing an interview I saw with Kevin Hart, that's kind of like what he does anyway. He comes in, he's still following script, but he's also having fun with what he does. And that's another reason why I appreciate him in this role, because he's going to have, he's going to have fun with it. He's going to do a terrific job, but he's also going to have fun with the character, give it a little bit of emotion versus I'm just going to read my lines like this and that's all it's going to be. I am Black Adam Shazam. No, he's not going to do any of that. He's going to bring some emotion to it, some reality to it. And that's what I like about it. And he fits this character perfect in terms of look. He fits it perfect. Rock runs about 6'5", 6'6", 275. So he's gonna fit this character perfect. And one day, because of this, I'm gonna get my Black Adam versus Shazam. I don't care if it's Black Adam 2. I don't care if it's Shazam 3. I'm gonna get it one day, doggone it. And it's gonna happen because of this movie. So everybody go out and support it so I can get my big on-screen battle.
I don't see how that is not the ultimate goal. I mean,
gotta be.
From the research I put in yesterday and today, in terms of learning about the entire vast backstories of Shazam and Black Adam and whatnot, I now understand the connections between them. At that point, it's almost fate that they're gonna cross paths, and there's gonna be a conflict. Cyber, I know this is tough, but I know this isn't Marvel, but you tell me. I don't want to pit Shazam 2 versus Black Adam, but I mean, would you say that it's fair? I would guess that Black Adam will probably do better box office wise than Shazam 2 will. Would you agree?
I would think they'll be equal. I think that they'll both make about the same amount, because you have your hardcore Black Adam fans and you have your hardcore Shazam fans, and I feel that at the playing field, because we've already had a Shazam film and there's such a great love for Shazam, I think that it'll still bring in the numbers to compete with Black Adam coming out in October. And so I think they'll both be around the same box office wise. Okay.
And William, what do you think? Same question, but also, are your expectations high enough to where you think it's conceivable that either one of these films could possibly come close to $1 billion?
Black Adam might, because when you look at Dwayne Johnson's value as an actor, he'll definitely bring some heads to the table for sure. And then when you look at Black Adam himself, this is his really big debut onto the screen. Yeah, you've seen him in comics. Yeah, you've seen him in video games. About to be in multiverses, but this is his first debut. And like I said, The Rock's gonna bring his drawing power to it. So yeah, I think Black Adam could do it just because of Dwayne Johnson being in it. I think he could really do it.
I think that's a good point to make. I think that The Rock really definitely does deliver. He certainly is popular. If anybody's capable of having that kind of effect on a film and elevating it like that, it probably would be him. I guess as far as I really have enjoyed the trailers for Black Adam. I love the ensemble cast. I really do. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the secondary characters in that Black Adam trailers. I do Shazam too. I won't lie. Although I do like Shazam too, and I like Shazam as a character. Now
it's just different. It's so different between those two. It's so different, but it's a good different.
Let me ask you guys a question here, Cyber. Aquaman 2. Okay, now we already talked about the news with I guess the Aquaman 2's now been delayed as well. Which, if you think about it, in a way, sort of makes sense and kind of ties into what CEO of Warner Brothers Disney or Warner Brothers Discovery has already kind of said publicly, which is that basically they're not going to be putting out anything that is subpar or we think that we can build a long-term, much stronger, sustainable growth business out of DC. And as a part of that, we're going to focus on quality. We're not going to release any film before it's ready. We're not going to release a film to make a quarter. The focus is going to be how do we make these films in general as good as possible. But DC is something we think that we can make better, and we're focusing on it now. Well, bouncing right off that statement, that was from less than a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. You tell me, doesn't it make sense at that point that maybe there was just something with Aquaman 2 where maybe it needed more time? Is that a possibility? What do you think, Cyber? And then, we think we all agreed that we liked Aquaman. You saw it 3 times in the theater. Do you think that Aquaman 2 can possibly be better than Aquaman?
It can be. I mean, sometimes the sequel does, do better than the original. I mean, Terminator 2 is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there's been a few other sequels that I feel are a little superior than the first. But with this, I honestly think it got pushed because they were still filming scenes for the film. Because if you didn't notice a couple weeks ago, Jason Momoa was taking pictures with Ben Affleck, and they said that he was filming more scenes for the film. So I think that that's the reason why it got pushed back again, because they need to re-edit, re-put those all back in and finish with the CGI, because that's what James Wan was saying, that the original date that they're supposed to come out with it, they had to push it back because they still needed time on the CGI work, because there's a lot of CGI they have to do for this film. And that was like what the article I saw today was the same thing, editing and stuff like that needs to be done. And so because they were just shooting some film, I think that is another reason, because they have to slice that into where it really needs to go, along with redoing all the little intricate things in the CGI world to make it look pristine. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm not 100% shocked, but at the same time, I'm a little pissed that now I have to wait till December of next year now to get this film. But I think that, I definitely think that it could be better. It could be at same par as the first Aquaman. You never know. We'll see.
Okay.
My problem is, are you really going to care at that point? I mean, 2023 is still a ways away. And there's so much that's going to happen between now and then, movie-wise, between both DCEU and the MCU. So there's going to so much happen movie-wise. Is that going to maybe fall under the rug? By that point? Are we going to really have that same interest that we were in that movie? Because like I said, you got a lot coming out from the DCU. You got a lot coming from the MCU. Are you really going to have that same investment in the movie because it got pushed back? I don't know.
No, I mean, and I guess for me, off the cuff, I'm trying to think of how this will impact overall DC films, these delays. I guess at the end of the day, it just means, like we already pointed out earlier, Mark, and I think William too, that at the end of the day, we're going to get less DC films. right? They're going to be more spread out, and we're going to get fewer of them, you know, this year and next year. So that can't be good, right? I mean, that's not positive as far as I can tell. Or maybe
unless
it is.
Unless you take it to kind of like Vince used to have, and I'll go back to a wrestling reference. Mark, if you're still listening, I'll take you to a wrestling reference. They spread out Brock Lesnar's appearances because of the fact if you brought him on TV every week, it wouldn't be as special. So that might be the same route maybe DC's trying to do. Spread it out so you were appreciated more. That's just a guess on my part.
Okay. Cyber, what do you think? Do you think that maybe this focus on quality, right, over volume, that like again, this Zaslav basically already put out there with this focus on quality, maybe that is a good thing. Like maybe these delays are necessary. And this actually falls in line with them wanting to clean house.
Quality isn't always the best because sometimes if you focus too much on the quality, you can overqualify it, and you can actually hurt the film by doing that too much. And I've seen that happen with films. I've seen them like, oh, it's got to be this perfect and this and that, and then when they end up putting out, I feel like it's basically a giant train wreck, and it doesn't do anything, and it's just not any good. And you know, them trying, if they want to try to compete with the MCU by putting out less films, they're not going to be able to compete with the MCU because the MCU is still putting out just as many, is putting out way more films than them, and it's just as good quality. I mean, it's always top notch, always. Right. So I mean, they just need to get on the ball and get things cracking properly is really the issue here. And you know, just like we've said, you know, throughout this whole podcast, is that there's too many cooks in the kitchen for Warner Brothers Discovery, and that is one of their biggest problems. And if they just happen to finally get somebody in there that can, you know, be like a Kevin Feige and make, you know, sense out of this, that is really their best idea that they can do versus like publicly, you know, trying to state that they're trying to do what Marvel is doing. They have to actually put it into work to actually work and help them out. And that's really the only way they're going to be able to get anything done.
Yep.
Okay. Now, going back to kind of close things out, the overarching conversation of sort of, as we've been kind of like ebbing and flowing and kind of on the side, and sometimes as the focus, this overarching conversation of, you know, again, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery merges in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, it's been publicly announced by the CEO, David Zaslav, some small details in terms of the direction they want to go in, that they do want to copy the MCU formula to some extent. They want a Kevin Feige type figure to head this film division. They want to build a team. And which actually, when I read that article, I actually misinterpreted that and actually took that as in they want to build a new team, like a new Justice League team or something like that. You know, I didn't realize at first that what he meant was they want to build a whole team, like the Kevin Feige team, his squad, right? Which I like. I think that's a great idea. Again, we've talked about the fact that there's a lot of different things going on right now with DC films and DC television. Things are a little bit off skew a little bit. They're not as connected. There is some differences, you know, between what's going on in certain sectors of these productions and these universes. Now, I guess you tell me, Cyber, and then to you, William, how do you know? I know I'm not looking for a silver bullet here, but what would you think the next steps would be to kind of try to bring back that connectivity, you know, or give you some connectivity to this whole overall universe, even if they're going to have their own individual projects like Joker 2. They're going to have the Batman doing his own thing with the series on HBO Max and whatnot, and doing well with it, probably. I'm sure that Matt Reeves is going to do a great job with that series on HBO Max. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. I think that Colin Farrell's The Penguin being one of the main focuses of the series is going to be great. I really do. I think he was one of the big parts of the Batman that made it work for me. But you tell me, what do you think? I mean, do they need to scrap the whole current DCEU WB type, TV type series type deal and just kill it? I mean, and reset that too?
No. Like I said before, they have to come up with a plan, put that plan to effect, and stick with it. That is it to a T. That is the only thing they can do to fix this whole Shazam of crap that they have produced. Too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people trying to put the control in their own hands. So find a one central person like Kevin Feige. Doesn't have to be exactly like Kevin Feige, just somebody that has that same smarts or same, idea, and take it actually and put it into place and actually pursue that and don't change it. Just like, what we mentioned earlier is that, Kevin Feige's left alone. He's able to do his thing. That's what they have to do here. Warner Brothers has to let go of the reins and allow somebody to actually produce this stuff for them so that they can do that. But see, the problem with a brand new merger, such as Warner Brothers and Discovery, you're going to have a lot too many cooks in the kitchen trying to come up with these ideas. Hence what this guy, I forget his name already, that you keep referring to in the article, he is kind of trying to get that started. But until we actually see progress, there's really not going to be anything to do. And these other projects that they're doing, Joker 2, the Batman 2, like that is not going to influence this at all. That's just other side stuff they're doing, like would be any other film that they're doing that's not related to the DCU.
Sure.
I mean, the Arrowverse is almost done. I mean, Flash is coming up on his last season. That's almost done. You can move Superman and Lois and Stargirl, HBO Max. Keep what you already have over there. Please don't kill Titans. Please don't kill Doom Patrol, particularly Doom Patrol. Don't kill that. But the Arrowverse is almost done, so you're gonna have that off your plate. So you can concentrate more on these movies. And just keep that continuity going. You can still do outside projects that are non-canon DCEU projects. You can still do those. But yeah, just keep the continuity going. Get one director in there, one vision, and keep it going. That's what they need to do. With the Arrowverse almost being gone, that's a lot of stress off your plate too. That's a lot of studio time you don't have to pay for anymore that you can invest somewhere else. You can actually have a little bit of flexibility now because the only thing we have to worry about is keeping everything on HBO Max. If you end up, because Stargirl's going over there, if you move Superman and Lois over there, then you'll be that much better off. CW's done, everything on HBO Max, and you can worry about your movies and go from there.
So, Cyber, you tell me. I mean, just again, hypothetically, just your own individual thoughts on this. Taking into consideration these loose, sort of properties and like these almost, continuity projects they have going on, regardless of that, in terms of having that concise plan that's very clear and direct and like concrete, which will obviously take time, right? It's not going to happen overnight. They're not going to do it in 2 weeks. I'm sure they haven't even really hammered it out yet at all, although I'm sure they're probably already working on it to some extent too. At that point, do you think that basically, what do you see right now? If you were to look overall at what they have going on right now with DC television, with DC movies, with what we have to work with, that's actually in the continuity, right? At that point, not the Batman, not the Joker, and all that. The stuff that is in the continuity, what do you see as being like maybe integral or pieces that will be helpful right now to help them move forward with this reset and then restarting this, with this new plan and this new strategy when they have it finalized and they put it out there? Who do you feel like they can kind of build off of? We know we're going to get another Wonder Woman film, right? They have to make. I'm assuming they'll do a third one with that. They're probably going to do a third Aquaman film. So while that's going on, do you feel like it's necessary for them to start another team I mean, of some kind? Did they have to have an Avengers type squad like they already tried with Justice League again and try with a different group to make things work?
No. Pure and simple, no. They just, what they already have, they have enough information and story and everything to continue. That's why I keep saying that the Flashpoint is the perfect portion to use that in, because with the Flashpoint, you can do anything with, because you're in several different multiverses like what they're doing with the MCU. They can take the Flashpoint film, take it and push it in the direction they needed to go. So just like what everyone was saying earlier, like to get rid of Ezra Miller, to have Grant Gustin come in right at the end and have it become that Flash now. Or, have him become Wally West, or, have Lyons Lyndale come in and be Wally West again. Or have the older gentleman that was in the Flash series that played, a different version of the Flash, have him come in. I mean, you have so many different possibilities. The Flashpoint is a perfect paradox because of the multiversal issues that it presents, that you can alter and change things. So they don't need to change anything that they've already have. They just need to take what they have already and move it forward to be continuous. And like I said, I think the Flashpoint is that perfect portion for that, because I feel that's kind of what they did with the MCU when they took, they were finished with the Infinity Saga and they decided, okay, we need to go in a different direction, but we want to keep some of these characters. We want to move them forward to have them become a part of this. What did they do? They started going to the multiverse for that options. Same thing, they could do that with DCU. Take Flashpoint, have that be their multiverse of madness to move that forward so that they can go and regain what they need to get that flowing correctly in the right direction.
And you talked about bringing another team involved. That brings another element to it, because there's so many ways you can go with that. I mean, you can go, if you want to, Legion of Superheroes, that's in the future. If you want to bring fans, maybe real fans back in, Batman and the Outsiders. If you want to go old school and bring some of the older fans back, Justice Society of America, like you see in Black Adam, there's a lot you can go. But in terms of keeping things going, I think you have to use your two existing shows you got left as far as live action goes. Stargirl, Superman, and Lois. I think you have to keep those going. Those are doing excellent right now. Flash is about to end. They're about to go into season 9 and then they're done. But Stargirl is doing well. Superman and Lois is doing well. Again, I hope they don't kill Titans. I hope they don't kill Doom Patrol. And then of course you got Justice doing well over there. Harley Quinn's doing okay. So they still got some good shows over there that can continue everything until they kick off this 10-year plan.
All right, well, last question then. And I'll go to you, William, then I'll go to Cyber. Can they still make the Justice League work, do you think? Can they bring that back and put that back together and make that work? Still, is it a viable option for them to go in that direction? Snyder or not? Can they actually try to put that back together and make that work and pull off Justice League 2 and have that be successful?
Yeah, but you got to be able to put a team together that everybody's going to be invested in. And again, I said it when Mark was here, they were bringing John Jones in. That would have been great for a lot of fans to see him. He's alien, super powerful. It would have been fantastic to have. You can do your different Flash. I don't know who you'll do to get Cyborg, but if you bring a different Cyborg in, it can work. But you just have to make sure you get people invested with the trailers, and then once you do that, go into a good main movie, a good story that keeps fans around. I think it can still be done.
Cyber?
Oh, it most definitely could still be done. With the introduction of Black Adam, Shazam into the mix, they can be added to refresh the Justice League and have them come a part of the Justice League at some point and make a sequel if they wanted to. I definitely foresee that kind of becoming the new Justice League anyways in the near future. Black Adam probably being the leader along with the majority of the other people. And I think that's kind of what they're gearing up for, because like we keep saying, at one point Shazam and Black Adam will probably fight. That will probably be the culmination of this new Justice League.
Yes.
And that battle will basically, basically harden that new structure to bring this new Justice League together. So I definitely think that's what they're trying in their kind of eyes, what they're trying to aim for. And I think that Shazam and Black Adam both will be a part of this new Justice League, along with some of the others. Who knows if they'll decide to cut a few out and have just them two, along with a few of the others that we've already established. But at this point, you never know. They could make a huge Justice League. They could give us a Civil War version of Justice League, with all these characters.
Yeah,
So
do it when you say Civil War, just doing justice. I mean, there's so many ways that DC has so many options to them in terms of characters they can bring to the big screen. A lot of them you've already seen on CW. I mean, if you do an Injustice storyline, if you do a live action Injustice storyline that's done right, oh my goodness, that thing would make tons of money. They did an animated Injustice that was just terrible. But if you do it correctly, oh man, that thing can make billions of dollars. And you want to talk about some characters in that movie, you still got your heavy hitters, you still got your Superman, you still got your Batman, you still got your Wonder Woman, but you also got your Hawkman. Mr. Terrific can come back. I don't know if you guys remember Mr. Terrific when he was in Arrow. Flash can make a comeback. There's so many ways that DC can make things work and make things happen, but they have to have the vision and foresight that make it right. They got the characters, they have all the characters that they need already. Just bring the right focus. That's all they need to do.
There you go. And at that point, before we close things out and we do our plugs and whatnot and everything, William, Cyber, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to flush out here on anything we've talked about in terms of the whole show? Is there anything that you've kind of wanted to throw out there, or anything, Cyber, anything left for the show, or anything about DC, the plan, any of the films we talked about, Shazam?
just one thought. Warner Brothers Discovery, get your shit together, because I'm sick and tired of you pushing these movies. Get your shit together.
I'm just upset that I'll say it, I'm gonna stand on my high horse because I love her to death. I was just upset Michelle Borth didn't get that recast of Mary Marvel. I don't know if they felt she was too old for the role. I don't know, but I loved her in Hawaii Five-0, and I was kind of hoping she would be recasted again. So we'll see. Maybe that's because that's another avenue they can go down. They can go down the Black Mary route if they want to go down the Black Mary route. If you bring a Black Adam, go ahead and go. I will go Black Mary at some point, and that's another way you can keep fans interested too. Because Black Mary is no joke. She was no joke. So there's different ways that you can go about this, but you just got to have the right vision to make everything correct and good.
Sure, most definitely. I think that's a good point. And hey, like I think I think we're all pretty optimistic at the end of the day, right? Regardless of like maybe how big some of us are as DC fans, how some of us aren't. But I guess, folks, just to close out the live stream discussional show here on DC and the DCEU, I want to go ahead and really quick just say thank you, and let everybody out there know that we really appreciate all of you that support us here at the MCU's Bleeding Edge, and I'm very blessed to have such a loyal and capable and outstanding co-host in Cybernetic Shark, the veteran YouTuber and longtime content creator. Like that, my pen just fell off like that, and fellow Rizzler. And honestly, I guess I'll start to you, William. Go ahead, I'll throw to you, man. Take your time and go ahead and talk about the Geek Gauntlet podcast and yourself and how you're doing, and whatever else you want to talk about, man. Get after it.
Yeah, real quick, join us for the Geek Gauntlet podcast every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitch, we are on YouTube, also on my LinkedIn page. So we're also there too, on Twitter as well. So definitely check us out. We talk a lot of comics, we talk a lot of anime, we go down to the live action shows, we talk gaming, we do interviews. I've had gamers on the show before, had a good time talking gaming. So definitely we had something for everybody. So catch us every Saturday night on the Geek Out the Podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern time, every Saturday night, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We got you covered.
There you go. And Cybernetic Shark, sir. what would you like to possibly maybe tell folks about your individual content at the moment? And what are your thoughts on our She-Hulk episode 2 review on Friday evening?
So yeah, I mean, if you enjoy seeing me here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge and want to check out my solo stuff, I do have my solo content on under Cyber Night Shark, of course, under YouTube. You can find me there. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Rizzle, all those places. I do something on there and everywhere. I just put out my Beast 2022 movie review today. It is live up on my YouTube page. So if you'd like to check out my thoughts on this Idris Elba film, go check it out. It's a really great film. And you have to see it last Thursday. It was so much fun. And yeah, that's up there. You can also, I've been doing a lot more shorts on YouTube. So if you get a chance, check out those two as well. Very similar to Rizzle, TikTok, minute-long little videos, doing mid-reviews, stuff like that. Check those out as well. And yeah, you know, check all that good stuff out. You can like me on here. Definitely check that stuff out. I appreciate it, and you guys rock. And for She-Hulk, looking forward to talking about episode 2. I'll be moderating this Friday, so
That's right.
Keep an eye out for that, people. So thank you, and you
And
guys
don't forget, my boy Cyber is in the running to be the next Wolverine. So y'all don't forget that. Y'all go out look out for my boy Cyber. He will be the next Wolverine. Look out for my boy. Look out for my boy now.
Yep. Next Wolverine. I'm gonna take over to Hugh Jackman, people.
He's gonna be pulling down those big checks then.
Yeah. Don't forget about us little people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Whoever they end up casting to be the Wolverine in Marvel and the MCU is gonna make a lot of damn money. I can tell you that right now.
A lot of money.
Straight up, like
a lot of commitment, but a lot of money too.
Sure, and watch, they'll end up probably finding some unknown young actor too. Who will end up being Wolverine. It won't be anybody we know of, or they're gonna want somebody young that can play the role for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, looks a little bit like experienced and has a little bit of a roughness to his look, right?
Yeah.
But no, overall, folks, William, hopefully we'll be able to get you. I haven't even asked you. Hopefully we can get you in on one of our Friday evening shows. I know you're doing your She-Hulk reviews on Saturday nights, but we'd love to have you come on the panel, at least do one or two of the She-Hulk episode reviews at some point.
Okay.
That'd be great. And I'll reach out to you about that.
Cool.
But yeah, folks, you can come check us out 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific this Friday evening. Twitter Live, Rumble, Facebook Live, Twitch, YouTube, so on and so forth. And as we continue to expand our influence across the multiple platforms on the internet, we will be getting after it and having a great episode review. Cyber will be doing a great job moderating, I'm sure. And we're going to keep on rolling the whole way through the Disney Plus She-Hulk series from Friday to Friday till we rock it out. And in the meantime, this Sunday, I believe we're probably going to be going off on the Sunday show, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And essentially, I believe that the theme or the basic concept of the show is going to be still sticking around and based around still trying to flush out everything that came out still of San Diego Comic-Con, the Marvel Studios panel. And it's its influence overall on the MCU, the future of it, Phase 5, Phase 6, Fantastic Four. We'll be talking about some X-Men, based off of like the little bit of news that has come out recently. We'll see. But either way, I believe that Cyber and I will be doing a Black Panther film review, an Infinity Saga review next Wednesday here on the main show. So next Wednesday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a Black Panther review. Black Panther review. And again, of course, William.
He's got that 2 stuck in his head, I swear.
I know, man.
He does.
Since I keep thinking about the trailer. But William, I will
his favorite trailer of all time, people.
Yep.
His favorite.
His favorite one. He don't even want to go to Wakanda.
He puts it up there with Captain Marvel. He loves Brie Larson.
Yeah, man.
Now the Infinity Saga trailer 2 and Avengers Endgame trailer 2 are my favorite my favorite trailers of all time. And also, Civil War. All the Civil War trailers were awesome, and freaking believe it or not, Age of Ultron trailers were fucking killer.
I know a lot of people think. I know a few people that think Age of Ultron was better than Endgame. I know a few people who think that way.
Wow, you know what? I mean, hey, I've never heard that before. That's new, but hey, you know what? I mean, look, Cyberknife talked about this openly on multiple shows. People don't give Age of Ultron enough credit just because it got sandwiched in between the original Avengers and Infinity War. Does not take anything away from the fact that it's an outstanding film.
Yeah,
it really was well done. It was a good. It was a great second film, and it doesn't matter who the hell directed it or what they did. It was not going to be able to be better than the first Avengers. So it just wasn't going to be able to do it. So for what I think for for the timing of it and whatnot, and coming off the Avengers, they did a great job with it. Hats off to Joss Whedon. Guy gets a lot of bad rap and whatnot towards him. I don't know him personally. I don't know what the fuck happened with Justice League, but it is what it is. He did a great job with the Avengers. But there you go, folks. For William, the host of the Geek Outlet podcast, his whole team. For Cybernetic Shark, my co-host. For myself, shout out to the fandom. And we'll see you on Friday for She-Hulk episode 2. And hopefully, I'll have to talk to Cyber. Maybe we can even figure out how we can maybe review some of these House of the Dragon episodes that just came out on HBO Max recently and figure that out, how we're going to make that work on the bleeding edge. Maybe Cyber's going to make me have to create a new YouTube channel for that. We'll have to see. Either way, folks, we'll see you on Friday night. And take care. Have a great weekend. And we love all of you. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
Said, excuse me, you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you dumb or what? You better go get your numbers up. Now